Hello everybody! Good evening, morning, noon, night, wherever you are in this godforsaken planet. We are back live on SimRace TV and this is GPVWC. Welcome, pull up your chairs, grab all of your snacks and drinks. I think we're in for a perfect evening of sim racing entertainment. We're here for International Touring Cars and we're at the Pukekohe Park Circuit, which is the qualifying session of 15 minutes, 10 remaining. My name is Simon Smith and I'll be dragging you kicking and screaming through tonight's pixelated action of pure speed. On cameras is Mr. Cameraman Extraordinaire de Revenge of the Car Smithage. It is Dave Carsmith. Plenty of action happened last time out in Bahrain. This is round 2 of 10 this season. And 2014 certainly keeping everyone more than excited. Currently Lewis Redshaw is on provisional pole position with a 1 minute 1:1:69 trollolol, ahead of Paul Watkins, Lewis McGlade, Matt Richards, Matt Strand, Mick Altumala, Florian Engel, David Junt, Ruud Heesterbeek in Toby Davis round out your top 10, but actually it's few people just go around on their hot laps. Currently, there's quite a few drivers out on the track that are relatively new, so give them a welcome. We've got Richard Coxon for Triple 20 making his debut for ITC in P19 on his hot lap, and he's already got it wrong. What is a very tight and tricky circuit. When you look at the track map, you just think, where are the corners? It looks like someone's just, I don't know, daubed a little bit of salad cream and it's just like blobbed onto the floor. It looks almost Oval-esque, except someone's like pulled a little nipple out. This track though is very it's got, I think because you go into it just like gung-ho, probably because you can go Pukekohe and get away with it. I think everyone goes well hey with each of the corners, just as Richard Coxon does on the exit of the final one. Over the line he goes, and he's second last, 2 seconds off the pace of the 12 that have set a time so far. Harley Hamnet pops into second, and Chris Hack goes fourth for Mazurek Racing. Mazurek done fine in the third reverse group race. Tom Vandervoort has crashed out on his hot lap, though, for Cosmo Autosport, and he will be at the very back of the grid. Tommy Oyala just crossing over the line in 33rd for Scuderia Brasilia. Or Basilia, sorry, and he pops into 11, so no joyousness there. And 2 people have already disqualified themselves. Max Spooner, who is also new for Cosmo, and Bart de Vos for Triple 20. They've done 4 laps, so not great there. Philip Morby in 37 running out wide over the final turn. And it's so easy to do. You can carry the speed through as he goes 16th of the 17 to have set a time. Jonathan Athercliffe 10 seconds off, so clearly he's had an excursion somewhere. And Morby 5 off. There's no excuse for being that far off. I'm only 2 at worst. Robert Weisenmuller, though, down in 23rd position, is on a hot lap for R02 Motorsport. And he was a force to be reckoned with, and you can see the way how you have to hustle the car around this final corner. You can't quite do it flat out if you get it wrong, and bruising all of the curb and more, and that's provisional pole for Robert Weisenmuller. A 1:01.114, all the ones, that's 2 sets of legs, leggy blondes all the way round, and I think he'll be quite happy with that. Matthew Williams in 24th for the 6th Axis Racing is making a meal of all the curbs into what is the tricky section, especially in the opening lap or two, because I've been involved in a few races around this circuit, and normally someone ends up upside down through those curves on the opening lap, and I think if anyone's going to be doing that anywhere here, it will be probably on ITC. Down this big long straight, you can be quite aggressive down into the previous corner, but you will get caught back out again, and that's cambered that corner as, who was that? Augustin Canapino popped into 7th for Vod Bull. It's very interesting, and in this final couple of corners you get it wrong and you just lose time hand over fist, and you can run out wide, which is not quite what Williams is doing. You can see he's using over the white line. You can do 2 wheels outside that, but no more. 10th for Matthew Williams, that will do. Jason Muscat has just popped into 5th for TWR, so that's good news for him. Ruud Heesterbeek out on track, and he looked quite feisty in the practice session for Vodball in P22. So what's he doing? Locking up his brakes. But you can get away with it there because of the way how the corner is and the way how you can accelerate back out again. This corner is a bit of a non-event, but you need to set it up nicely around this little flick, so ensure that you can hang on for dear life. As Eric Strain goes into provisional pole, breaking the 1 minute 1 barrier, as does Heasterbeak, but he's 0.003 of a second slower. My goodness me, you couldn't throw an anorexic model between the pair of them. Strain then on provisional pole, 1:00.973. Heasterbeak goes second for Vodball. Weisenmuller down to third. The bar is constantly being raised, and there's going to be few drivers left to do it. Sven de Vries for Enterprise just crossing over the line in 34th. He pops into 12th, so that won't do it. Who else is out there who may be able to? Martin Palm, actually, down in 27th place. He was looking quite good for the first time. He didn't look great in Bahrain. Much more on the pace here for Torrent Motorsports. Nice and tight round the final curve. Runs out all four wheels momentarily over the line. Clings on for dear life though, and that pops him up into 5th. And I think you'll be relatively happy with that one. Just 1/4 of a second off of pole position time currently. Ben Hackerson just pops into 25th position. And who was that starting a hot lap? I believe that was... No, we've got Menno Klont actually in 34th position, working his way through traffic for Optimum Sim Racing. And that is not how you take that curb. I've tried to take that curb like that a wee bit. But being aggressive on the inside will either spin you round or spit you out. It's very difficult to get the pair of them. JJ Wang just having issues with his connection, so I don't think he'll get a chance to set a lap. Mr. Klontz, where does he clamber himself into? Over the line he goes, and that's only 22nd, 1.5 seconds off of the pace. That shows you just how tight the field is. Jesper Tolberg for Aurora in 31st position is out on track. Thomas Jacobs just behind. Let's see where these two finish themselves off with, and that leaves us with pretty much Adrian Holm left to do a time with Chris Williamson. So the stragglers. Jesper goes third. He'll be pleased with that, I think. Yeah, narrowly missing the 1 minute 1 barrier. Fortunate for him. Where did Tom Jacobs go? Thomas Jacobs goes into 11th position to be the top Six Axis Racing driver there. Adrian Holm now starts his hot lap for THR in P33, and he, quite frankly, is second in the championship standings at the moment. We'll run through those in the practice session. Trying to get a tow there from Toby Davis, his teammate, working in tandem, the THR drivers, and then I'm sure Adrian will try and do the same for Toby next time by. There's room to be made, but not if you go in too deep into that corner. And Adrian locking up his wheels, just about getting into the stream there. Davis wants to stay quite close behind him for his lap, but he won't want to lose time and tyre efficiency by scrubbing off on Adrian's dirty air. Holm crosses the line then. Can he take provisional pole? No, he doesn't. It only brings him up to 4th position. He fails to break the 1:01 barrier and just beats Weisenmuller by 0.002 of a second. I tell you what. Control! Toby nearly loses it behind him there. Just about clings on. And that's the kind of balls to the wall action I expect to see around this Pukekohe Park circuit. I believe it's in New Zealand. If it's not, I've just moved it. Soz. Down the home straight then. Looks like he is closer to Adrian than what Toby was to Adrian last time by. Pulls out. Goes straight onto the brakes. This is looking a little bit more tidy. A little bit of locking on the right rear. But gets it through. Actually, if anything, looking a bit more straightened than what Adrian was. So round the last little bit, hops over the curb, a quick spin to the inside. That becomes more of an issue as tyres fall off later in the race. Where can Monsieur Davis pop himself into? It is pole position. Beautifully done there for Toby Davis, a 1:00.576. And that is 4 tenths nearly faster than everyone else. Simon Melhuish and Chris Williamson have binned their cars. So unless JJ Wang can't get back into the server and complete a time, because we've only got a minute left to go, that is nigh on everyone through. Well done, Toby there. Teamwork at its best and finest, ahead of Eric Strain, Ruud Heasterbeek, Jesper Tulberg, Adrian Holm, Weisenmuller, Redshaw, Palm, Hamnet, and Paul Watkins, our senior statesman, into 10th position for TWR. Great effort. So we'll run through the full grid as we go through. As always, though, there is tons of ways for you to get interactive with us. You can hashtag us at GPVWC, which we've already had 2. Thank you very much. Joe Coffin sat watching the ICC tonight, hoping for some great racing and commentating like last round. Well, I wouldn't put my hopes up too high for that one. Great racing, possibly. Great crashing. Crashing's good. And Ben Willis, tonight's ITC drink game, a shot for every car rolling into turn 1. Will I be alive at the end of the broadcast? Well, funnily enough, you should say that, Mr. Willis. I have got, and we'll do a ceremonial opening live on air. I noticed Strongbow have not only just got their dark fruit cider, they've got citrus edge. So I bought myself one of those ginormous oversized bottles, because that's when you're just too lazy to open more than one. And if we listen carefully... Ah! Opening! It's the opening ceremony. There we go. Glug glug. Ooh, smells a bit urine-y. Oh, that's good. It tastes better than it smells. Generally, like a lot of appendages. And talking of appendages, we were playing fruit appendages at work today. Well, I was. And there may be some pictures surfacing of that. So apologies in advance to anyone that's friends with me on Facebook. On the drivers' standings, it's Augustin Canapino, everyone's favourite sweetie friend. Leading by 3 points. He's got 54 ahead of Adrian Holm. Then it's Lewis Redshaw in third, ahead of Toby Davis, despite DNFing. Middle of the 3 rounds. Jesper Tulberg in 5 with 33 points, equal with Sven de Vries. Jordan Weeks, who I've not seen out here today, is 7th, ahead of Robert Weisenmuller. Ruud Heasterbeek and Gary Lennon. He's in 10th position with 22 points. We've got 22 drivers who have scored. Eric Strain, the last of them, to be fair, with a point or 2. That may well have changed. In fact, it says he's got 4 points, but I shall wait and see with that one. In the constructors, it's CHR leading the way with 87, ahead of Oddball Racing on 76, CSG with 43, and then Aurora, I believe. There's a lot of stuff to be sorted out of the standings because of a checking facility that we have now put in as mandatory, called RF Scan, which just makes sure that there's no cheating scoundrels out there. And so there's a lot of time penalties for people that forgot to submit it. First race of the year, it always happens. So once that's all sorted out, we'll get absolute pure confirmation of the standings. But what we can definitely know tonight is that it is going to be closer than the desert breeze. Also on Simon's hit list, whilst we're trying out new cider, has anyone tried the Cadbury's chocolate creation stuff? You know, the one that's got the jelly stuff and the popping candy? Oh my god, is that not heaven? Hashtag GPVWC. But they have released last week a banana caramel burst. And you know when you go into the Penny Chew sweets place and you get those chewy looking slightly skanky banana like flumpy things? They've just chucked that in a dairy milk bar. It's so yummy. I bought some for my other half and I was like, hey, I'm not trying to groom you, but eat that. And thankfully partner did, and groomed he was. So penalty weight, obviously, for round 2. Who has got the penalty weight? Of course, it is our top 5 from last time. So Augustin Canapino will carry 45 kilograms of penalty weight this round. Adrian Holm will have 36. Lewis Redshaw 27. 18 for Toby Davis, and 9 for Jesper Solberg. Just for those who do have R Factor, which is the game that we're running this league on, the race start time will be at 9:30 in the morning. Cool. And for those that are statty for you, damage is set to 75%. Only auto clutch is allowed on the aids front, and all of the wear of the tyres will be at normal rate. 16 laps. It will go fast. My goodness me. Go Harry. Thank you to James Kirk tweeting in. So difficult to not be racing, but in the middle of exams. Well, good luck with that, Monsieur Kirkidge. The broadcast is definitely what I need after a hard day. Hard doing what? Hopefully revising. I remember having to do exams. I remember one of my friends, what an absolute jammy little moose she was. She turned up and she was drunk to her science exam and came away with a double A star. Clearly science works best when drunkard. Hey. Anywho. Waiting for Toby Davis to get back into the server because his game has crashed. Let's that not be a hope of things to come. Did he not have a game crash last time as well? We shall soon find out. Race director Dave Carr-Smith giving everyone a please don't crash into each other in the opening laps. I have one word for that sentence. A futile. Everyone agrees. Yeah. At least there's not weather. And there's no rain. Be thankful for these things. So, what else is going on out there in the world? Joshua Anderson, ITC hashtag, as well as GPVWC, all the hashtags. Looking forward to tonight's race. Won't be racing, but I'm going to enjoy it watching the sun. The fun even. Plant power hashtag. Not sure what that means. However, I'm assuming that means that your car is beetroot powered. So, glad to have you all on board. At least I know people are watching. You can all have a crusty hug from moi. Are you munching on a Maltese at Easter egg, says Mr. Coffin. That's not fair, I feel. I'm still recovering from the childhood revelation that Easter eggs just weren't full of chocolate all the way through. What's the point of an Easter egg being hollow? It's a bit like if you got like one of those big giant £10 Easter eggs and it was one of the Cadbury's cream ones. I would quite like to just you can just like put your face in, just go wow. Tell me you would not find that amazing, and maybe some of you slightly erotic. I don't know which camp I would fall into. Probably both. If you fancy getting involved in the action once it kicks off, you can sign up at gpvwc.com. You will need a copy of R Factor, which is still an amazing simulator all these years on. I say it's the best 20 quid I've ever spent in my entire life getting this game. Especially if you think of like pounds per hours. It's practically paying me to play it. There's a great video actually that's surfaced today about someone that's made an R Factor 2 video where it's showing like the life of a racing driver and it pretends that he's like on the podium and things like that. Quite good. Sure, R Factor 2 if you've liked it on book of your face. There is a link at the very top of their page. Only one grid penalty for tonight, and that is for Bart de Vos, and he disqualified himself anyway. So not quite sure where he'll start. Probably halfway round the sector 2 mark. Everyone else with penalties. So JJ Wang, Ryan Walker, Giuseppe Ranieri, David Junt, Toby Davis got a warning, sorry. Robert Weisenmuller and Philip Morby all got 20-second penalties added, as well as Cameron Brewster. Jordan Weeks was disqualified with a 2-event ban. That's why he's not here today. For an intentional wreck. We do frown on intentional wrecking here. Because of course this is the home of the old Gentleman's Racing Club. Where everyone would have a quick game of croquet in the warm-up session. I could have eaten all of the potato croquettes in this warm-up session. It's not looking like Toby will be able to join us. So, yet another DNF for the real-life racing driver, who on his YouTube channel actually has some amazing headcam shots of him going around doing karting. You can ride around various tracks in his helmet. Not that helmet, the other helmet. Only a few people get to ride around in that helmet, and that's probably for an after watershed broadcast, which you may have when we do the 24-hour race. Anyway, we're just moving forward to the race now.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Non-essentials, clear off. Toodle pips to you all. Best of luck. Lots of people saying good luck actually in the channel. Everyone being quite happy, joy, lucky. I will pootle through the grid as fast as I possibly can. It's a short track here. Short lap, sorry. Matt Jacobs, I project a pile up in turn 1. Or I'm atheist hoping. I think you have found religion, Mr. Jacobs. Probably involve your brother. I hear that karting goes down quite well in your side of the woods. Eric Strain leads around on the formation lap with ITF1 ahead of Ruud Heasterbeek with Vodball racing alongside. Jesper Tolberg then is third position for Aurora ahead of Adrian Holm, the sole THR in fourth. Robert Weisenmuller is in fifth for Araya Motorsports. Araya Stream Motorsports. CSG's Lewis Redshaw 6. Martin Palm is 7th for Torren, ahead of Harley Hamnet 8th for Bastvik. Then the two TWRs of Paul Watkins and Jason Muscat are 9 and 10, ahead of Chris Hack for Mazurek and 11, Mike Bell 12 for Aurora, Thomas Jacobs 13 for TSA, Tom Parker 14 for CSG, 15th for Gary Lennon in Mazurek, 16 Augustin Canapino for Vodball, our championship leader, slightly down the order there. Lewis McGlade in 17th for Torrent Motorsports. That's a weird one. 18th, Sven de Vries Enterprise. Matthew Williams 19 for Sixth Axis Racing. Matt Richards 20th for Air Stream Motorsports. It will be Araya for me till the day I die. Walters Automotive in 21st for Matt Strand. Then Cameron Brewster for place seat 22. Tommy Ojala 23 for Scuderia Brasilia. Ryan Walker for Bastvik in 24th, ahead of Mikhail Tumala for Enterprise 25. Bart de Vos with his penalty down to 26th for Triple 20. And O'Clont 27 for Optimum Sim Racing. 28th is Florian Engel for Walters Automotive. 29, Quintin Plain for TTF, a new driver, and pushing himself quite well ahead of his teammates. Richard Cox is in 30th for Triple 20. Hope he's not got Triple Cox. Otherwise he'll be in the rowing event. 31st for Tyrone Frith for TTF, 32nd for David Junt for Scuderia Brasilia. Max Spooner on his debut as well, Cosmo 33rd. 34th Ben Hackerson for play seat. 35th Philip Morby for play seat, sorry, Hackerson's YTF1. Jonathan Atterclint for Optimum is 36th. Then Simon Melhuish and Chris Williamson for Nijo, 37-38. Tom Vandervoort is 39th, and last for Cosmo. And they're parking all the way round the corner because they're that far back. Here come the lights then. Round 1 of the Pukekohe Park for ITC this evening is coming up very shortly, now that someone's in their grid box. Here we go then, 16 laps of high octane action kicking off on your screens. Now! Drake gets away, lights up all 4 tyres, but that's still better. Look at Tolberg coming beaming through between himself and Easterbeek, and he may well have the prime advantage down to turn 1. Indeed he does! Before we even get there, he's taken the lead. Someone's flying out wide, and the Bastwick is going down. That's Harley Hamnet. Martin Palm's gone through, and that's Lewis McGlade's round. He's gone piling into other cars. And TSA's round. It is Tom Jacobs. I knew it would be your brother that would go off there, Matt. Everyone else is filtering through quite nicely. It was just Tom Jacobs facing the wrong way. He's got back going again in 33rd, but back up the front it is Jesper Tolberg battling with Eric Strain side by side. Easterbeek's in 3rd, then it's Weisenmuller and Holm side by side. Holm gets round Weisenmuller as Tolberg takes the lead from Eric Strain, pushes him out slightly wide, gives a little love nudge through. Watch, Redshaw gets past Watkins for 7 and 8. Muscat gets passed by Harley Hamnet for 9 and 10. Everyone else kind of filtering through. David Junt gets collected a little bit by Florian Engel, but they're both still pointing the right direction as Florian Engel loses out 4 positions in one corner as they're going 3 and 4 wide further back. And Augustin Canapino's in number. Oh, he's off down the pit lane. He's spun into the pit lane, 38th position. Then parked it, our championship leader, down to last and in the pits. And I don't think he meant to be. However, Tolberg leads the way from Strain, Easterbeek, Holm, Weisenmuller, Palm, Watkins, Hamnet, Bell up to 9, side by side with Muscat. And those two are going toe to toe. Everyone else filtering through quite nicely behind. Who is that? Lewis Redshaw's down to 35th position, so he's lost out in a spin somewhere too. Tolberg on Strain. Strain's late to the late breakers. He's going around the outside in the YTF1. Beautiful move, and you can do that because of the way how the track is cambered here. More contact by the back, and that looks like Mike Bell off the track. He rejoins in 15th position, and that was contact between himself and Muscat. Hack and De Vries were involved in that one too. But yeah, Bell losing out several places. Tyrone Frith's been off the track, as is Isaclint at the back too. So a few stragglers we've lost off the back as Easterbeek goes for Tolberg down into turn 1. Nicely done, Tolberg's. Oh my goodness me, 4-wheel drifting in 3rd position to try and get himself through that corner. Does so without a drama llama. However, Jason Muscat in 9th position is 4-wheel drifting onto the back straight, and that will allow Chris Hack and Matt Richards full-blown attack on him. And this is what you end up doing on lap 3 of 16 down this back straight, is essentially trying to slipstream your way as best as possible through to see if you can be last of the late breakers. Easterbeek has half a look at Strain, nothing doing there. Everyone else is nice and as you were, but Muscat and Hack are having a go. Muscat takes 9th position. Matt Richards is down to 10, is up to 10th, sorry. Chris Hack loses 2 in 1. Unfortunately, that's not the buy one get one free offer that he quite wanted. Matthew Williams is into 12th, just behind, ahead of Bell, Brewster and Lennon is your final point scorer currently at the moment. Oh, 3 wide towards the back with Tom Vandervoort in 25th position, passing Spooner and Engel. And Chris Williamson just behind him, 28th as well, as they go toe to toe. All contact between Spooner and Engel. And if anything, that's pushed them both off. And look at Chris Williamson. He's going to take 2 cars at once. Chris will think Christmas has come early, but I don't think he's got quite the straight line speed to see it through. And Mikhail Tumala yoinks up into 27th position. It is all go from top to bottom. Sven de Vries and Tommy Oyala both out with crashes, and Ryan Walker and Paul Watkins are into the pits, and they were both running at the lower end of the top 10. Strain goes for Easterbeek for the lead though, side by side. Tolberg's right there as well. Easterbeek takes the lead then for Godball Racing ahead of Eric Strain. Tolberg down to 3rd, then it's Holm and Weisenmuller toe to toe with each other. Mike Bell takes Matthew Williams for 12th and 13th, although that's being contested as Strain and Tolberg. Look how far out wide they go as they cross over the start-finish line to start lap 5 of 16. Beautiful stuff. Weisenmuller takes a peek at Holm for 4 and 5. They go side by side into turn 1. Holm 4-wheel drifts. He gives you the inside for the next turn, but you're hopping over the curb and you've got to really decide what's the place to attack. Martin Palm looks like the one who is the most Scandinavian as he goes through, flicking it round. A little bit like ice rallying through that section, which is why it's so enjoyable but so perilous at the same time, especially if you're going wheel to wheel. Someone else in trouble. It was Philip Morby off the track. Ryan Walker and Sven de Vries. Ryan Walker has retired. Oh, and Max Spooner's facing the wrong way, down in 34th position. And Asa Clint. Oh, goodness me! It's all kind of kicked off because where Spooner had spun, Spooner spun. Paul Watkins and Tyrone Frith and co have all kind of gone off in sympathy with them, but they're all back going again, just about. As Heasterbeek leads again, lap 6 of 16 from Strain, Tallberg, Weisenmuller, Holm and Palm in their own little trio need to work together if they want to catch up on the leading trio, because they've decided to not battle for a little while and it's helping them out. All different lines. Hamnet's on his own in 7th, then it's Parker in 8th, Muscat 9 with Richards and Hack behind, then Williams who's been caught by Bell, Lennon, Brewster, McGlade and DeVos, who started 28th and is already up to 17th. Heasterbeek though under attack from Strain. Rude takes the extreme defensive line, but Strain's already gone down the outside once this evening. Decides to go for the old switcheroo down on the inside. It won't quite work there. He's not quite got the car muscled enough alongside, I don't think, and this is too much of a corner to hang on round the outside to get the inside for the final turn. Matthew Williams off into the barrier, 17th position. That is a shame, and that was contact with Mike Bell. Under braking actually, Bell just seemed to turn into him. That was a bit bizarre. Rejoins just while Simon Melliwish and Robert Coxon are going wheel to wheel for 18th and 19th. Both would dearly love points, yet to score the pair of them I think. Melliwish goes for the inside, ooh, nearly into the back of Mr. Coxon, with Matthew Williams just behind, who's also dropped back, and David Junt towards there as well, as Gary Lennon loses out to Brewster and McGlade for 13th, 14th and 15th position. So Gary they're off, and Matthew Williams off the track down to 20th. Tom Vandervoort completely misses the... Oh, and Sumala as well, just behind, 22-23. All in problems, and that allows Quintin Plain to come up to 23rd on his debut for TTF. So plenty of swap-saroo positions going on. Apologies if this is coming across a little bit excitable, but there is just simply so much going on. Battle for 12th position going on with Brewster versus Bell. All the B's. However, none of the knees. Lightly decapitated, and look at Lewis McGlade going for it, and Gary Lennon. 3 into 1 into this turn will surely not work. Who's going to chicken out? Brewster does so. Lennon loses out by taking the tight line in. McGlade has the pair of them. Mike Bell bounces over, and if anything it's going to be Brewster's going to be a little bit toe happy on the exit. May get caught out by Bart DeVos. Beautiful racing between those 5 to go in and out of that corner together and not be in drama, as again the battle for the lead. Heasterbeek versus Strain. Rude goes for the inside line, then just cuts it very, very tight on the exit. They've got, I think, is that a Nijo up ahead that they're about to come round? Oh no, it's Cosmos Max Spooner to lap. Still only the 3 retirements so far, although Watkins and Morby are both lapped. And that Max Spooner car looks slightly second hand as they're coming round. Holm having a look at Weisenmuller for 4 and 5, but not doing it down into turn 1. And what's Spooner going to be like for his first lapping? Clue, not great. Oh my goodness me! Gee, mini cricket, Spooner, get out the way. You've made a right fork of that. Anyway, Weisenmuller goes through up into 4th position. Holm to 5. Palm stays in 6th. Spooner now gets out of the way. I think he was just maybe losing it himself. But what that has done is allow Strain to have yet another go at Heasterbeek and allow Tallberg to fall off the back of these two. Strain's got his nose round the outside, and he's going to be a little bit more braver, but Heasterbeek gives him just enough room to squeeze alongside as they go toe to toe again, with no longer having to think of Tallberg behind. Strain is focused purely on the message in front. Side by side round the final curve. This is going to be the battle of the tyres. Strain has got almost his entire car ahead as they cross the line to start and complete lap 9 and go on to lap 10. And can Strain do it? He's going to spend about half the lap round the outside of Rude. Beautiful racing here at GPVWC, and he's got it down into 1 and 2. My worry is Heasterbeek will just go yoink back down that home straight again. Weisenmuller still ahead of Palm and Holm as well. Hamnet 7, then Muscat has passed Parker for 8th and 9th, Richards is in 10, then Hack, Bell, Lennon, McGlade and Brewster, your point scorers. Everyone else still chugging along quite nicely. Easterbeek already back ahead before the braking zone. Oh, he's gone in deep! That is deep dish, and unfortunately Eric Strain quite likes the thin base, and that is beautifully done. But what can Easterbeek do? He's got so much more straight line speed than Eric does. Eric a bit more stable, and perhaps over a full lap there's not tons of a difference between them in terms of lap time, but in terms of the ability to attack, overtake and defend, Easterbeek has an advantage, it feels like. Side by side again. Is Eric going to back out of it? Oh my goodness me! There's only so much a man's sphincter can take, but he just about make it through. Tulberg, Weisenmuller, Holm and Palm are catching though, they're stalking, and look at the way how they're all going to the inside as if to say, I'll have in your toe, mate, as they go down lap 11 to 16. Palm on Holm actually is probably the closest of the lot. As Easterbeek defends again from Strain just about, and Palm is going for Holm down the outside. Adrian kits Palm onto the curb and he loses out traction on exit, and Easterbeek has still got ahead of Strain. Oh, Palm keeps going around the outside though. He may well have Adrian Holm by the sounds of this. Holm takes the inside curve and Palm's through up into 5th position. Oh my goodness me! Tons of off-road rallying. Up goes the grass and the dirt. But Palm, beautiful move there. Ragged as you can with a raggy doll. But he's up into 5th position just about and still within touch and distance of the rest. Further back, someone else is far off the track. It's Cameron Brewster. He completely missed the final turn off on the grass, and I think that's going to allow Bart DeVos through for 15th. Indeed it does. Cameron now out of the points as Lennon, Bell. Oh, Jason Muscat's off. That's why he's down in 16th position. Oh, he's been in the wall, and it's in that little flick-flack down at turns 1 and 2. He had a go at Parker and just lost it, smashes into the wall, loses the front bumper, rejoins just behind Philip Morby, who's lapped. And that to me looks like Palm and Holm side by side again for 5th and 6th, as are the leaders. Easterbeek stays ahead of Strain. Holm retakes Palm like a do-si-do. Gary Lennon retakes Mike Bell for 11th and 12th. Whilst who else is still battling away? David Junt overtaking Quintin Plain for 24th and 25th, with Lewis Redshaw overtaking him just a corner or two earlier for 23rd. So Quintin doing very nicely, his car looking very pristine actually, which is most unlike what happens around this circuit. Time through from Matt Strand battling over 31st and 32nd as well. Tyrone's car is battling his way through. Matt Strand, I'll tell you what, I would put that one in for surgery or take it to a vet and put it down. That car looks horrible. Easterbeek on Strain though, still for the lead. Oh, and has Easterbeek gone in deep? He has! Eric does the switcheroo to perfection. My goodness me, standing ovation from me if I could be bothered to stand up, but my fatty legs just can't be arsed. Beautifully done there by Eric, into the lead. Easterbeek down to 2nd, Tulberg 3rd. And they've dropped Weisenmuller, and Palm and Holm are so busily battling each other, they're being dropped from Robert. So it's starting to fracture out into a 3-horse race with 3 laps to go. What on earth is going to happen? Tom Vandervoort has just retired from the race in 33rd, so that's another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Woo! On the home straight, back straight. Who's it going to be this time? The old snake. And actually, Eric must have had. It's in the. It's right towards the second part. It's almost like Easterbeek gets DRS. But that is probably the most competent and confident that Eric has been down there, as Palm retakes Holm for 5th and 6th positions. I think Holm is going to try and cling on around the outside like what he done last time. Martin keeps to the inside, a little bit of on the brakes, but Palm was on the acceleration much earlier than what Holm was. He's going to push him out wide. Oh my goodness, tank slapper from Palm, holds it together. Holm busy rallying on the grass. I don't think that will be done until we're crossed over the line. Same with pretty much everything else down for the rest of the points. as Strain defends heavily from Heesterbeek, but that was a messy entrance onto the back straight, and I think this will mean that Eric will strain to keep Heesterbeek and Tallberg behind down this one, because they're going to catch him a lot earlier in this slipstream. Look at the way they're going around the curve, and Heesterbeek's already there sniffing at his rear, and you don't want to sniff that for very long. And in fact, he's coming across slightly under braking. Strain goes in deep. That's going to leave him really, really vulnerable on the exit. And watch out for Jesper Tallberg. But he's got nowhere to go because they're so busy battling each other. Beautifully done. Ooh, dearie me. Out over the grass goes Tallberg. Side by side again. Heesterbeek defends just about from Eric. But, oh, that's probably the first piece of contact they've had all race. And it's on the last lap, and what that may mean is that Strain has just got that little bit of a disadvantage under the brakes. He chops across Tallberg. He wants that slipstream. It's all going to come down eventually to how this corner unfolds. And I think Strain is going to have to defend more from Tallberg than he is from attacking Heesterbeek. Heesterbeek goes defensive. Tallberg's going to go for the long break down the outside. How's it going to work? Heesterbeek covers all the racing lines. Strain has got good acceleration off of the corner. He's gone to the inside, but can he force himself round? On the inside, he's got the tiniest piece of car behind, but no! Rude Heesterbeek cuts him up across just when the bonnet falls behind his racing bumper, and he comes across the line to win round one at the Pukekohe Park circuit. Rude Heesterbeek wins from Eric Strain in second. Jesper Tallberg is in third. Then it's Robert Weisenmuller in fourth. Martin Palm comes home fifth, ahead of Adrian Holm by 2 seconds. So something happened there. Harley Hamnet 7. Matt Richards grabs 8 from Tom Parker, who dropped behind right at the end. Chris Hack, beautiful 10th, ahead of Mike Bell, 11th, who got round Gary Lennon for 12. Lewis McGlade held off in 13th, ahead of Bart DeVos, and Cameron Brewster did take back that final points-paying position from who he was battling with. Richard Coxon just outside the points on his debut in 16th, ahead of Jason Muscat, who was off the track. Ben Hackerson 18, Simon Melhuish 19, Tom Jacobs 20, ahead of Matthew Williams 21. The two TSAs together. Then Mikhail Tumala 22nd, David Junt 23rd, Augustin Canapino 24, Lewis Redshaw 25th position, Quinton Plain 26th on debut, Menno Clont 27, ahead of Florian Engel, Chris Williamson. Matt Strand got back past Tyrone Frith for 30th and 31st. Jonathan Asser-Klinth was just a couple of attempts behind him in 32nd, but unlapped. Well done, John. Then a lap down was Philip Morby, Max Spooner and Paul Watkins. Your 4 retirements, and only the 4, Tom Vandervoort, Ryan Walker, Sven de Vries and Tommy Oyala. Also non-starting, Torby Davis. Says his name is Strana. But then I think of Travis Pastrana, and that's just not even spelt like that. So, and Eric Strain makes more jokes. Anyway. Onwards! So, one down. What did we think of that? Hashtag GPVWC. What was very interesting there was that Augustin Canapino, who done so well at Bahrain, did not figure highly at all there. Did not take a point. Whereas Holm did, Redshaw did not, Davis did not, Tallberg did, Reese did not. That was really Adrian Holm getting a quids-in win quite early on. Because Heesterbeek was 9th in the championship, and Eric Strain, or Strane, Strummer. Actually, it's not Strummer. There's not even an M in it. He was down in 22nd championship. So, all to play for. And indeed it will be for the first few rounds. Tom is going to kill me when he watches this back, says Matt Jacobs. Probably would, however, he won't hit you too hard because he's so skinny he'll probably fracture a bone. Eat something. Ballast. You can move it around in the car. Lots of people. Saying lots of things. Chat rooms. Of course, it's not just touring cars that we have. We have open wheeler stuff, which happens next week. We're off to the Jewel of the Crown in Monaco. That'd be worth a look. Not necessarily for the battles, unless I do get some by fluke some provisional pole position and everyone just gets stuck behind me whilst I toodle around at 7 seconds off the place. But you'll have Formula Challenge on the Tuesday, Super Cup on the Wednesday, and of course the Super League. El Jewel to the Crowns. On the Thursday. There is, actually. Someone was just talking about a 24-hour race in these cars. That would be amazing. But there is an endurance race for 24 hours coming up. Fancy 24 hours of broadcasting shenanigans. Watch out for that. Can't remember what the date is, but it's on the GPVWC website. In other news, not only is it Monaco next week, but it's really buggered up my entire week because it's Eurovision. Yes, that thing that everyone pretends doesn't really happen but does, and everyone secretly enjoys even though they don't. Eurovision is back, baby. We're in Denmark. Essentially, someone that could actually afford to put on the event. And I've not heard any of the songs, including ours. So expect sheer joy and a lot of bitching on social media as I enjoy that event after the race, which may be helped along with several alcohol drops should I actually score a point. Interestingly, in this ITC event actually, the next track is Adelaide. It's completely different to how this track works. The opera dubstep from last year was glorious. Yes, it was, James. Yes, it was. It was amazing. I quite like in Eurovision. I don't like it so much that we now have the semi-finals, because most of the stupid stuff that I secretly tune in for gets knocked out in the semi-finals. And I'd rather have a full-on than just a semi. But yeah, it's we need a couple of years where it's just pure joke entries again. Makes things so much easier and better. I could enter myself, says Mr. Dave Carsmith. cameraman / race director extraordinaire. However, not only is that probably a video best left on Xtube, it would be an issue for trying to get a happy song for one, and a song under 3 minutes. 3-minute rule. I would quite like to do the, and here are the votes for the UK entry. Then I get to stand in
non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Yes, all right, we're leaving. Then I get to stand in front of a nice little blue screen and be blue screened into various parts of London, where it doesn't look quite so busy as what it really does when you're there. Poxy tube strike tomorrow. I'm going to have to walk. If I actually go to work, I have to walk 12.2 miles tomorrow. I don't think it's happening. Grid lines up then. For round 2. The order is how they finished in round 1, so I'll just quickly walk you through it. Peter Beacon Strane on row 1, ahead of Talberg and Weisenmüller on row 2. Row 3 is Palm and Holm, ahead of row 4 Hamnet and Richards. Parker and Hack row 5, ahead of Bell and Lennon row 6. McGlade and DeVos row 7, ahead of Brewster and Coxon row 8. Muscat and Hackerson in row 9, ahead of Melhuish and Jacobs row 10. Williams and Tumala row 11, ahead of Junt and Canapino in row 12. Justin has lots to do if he wants to get back that championship lead. Redshaw and Plain row 13, ahead of Engel and Williamson row 14. In relation to Humperdinck, row 15 is Strand and Frith. Row 16, Asserclint and Morby, ahead of Spooner and Watkins, row 17, Vanderbilt and Walker, row 18, De Vries and Oyala, row 19, Toby Davis, and JJ Wang has managed to get into the server to make it an all 40 car grid on row 20. Oh, and someone's off the track. I'm not quite sure who. Oh, it's Tommy Oyala there. Got caught out in the naking. I decided to just take to the grass to avoid everyone. Actually, not quite so thick as it sounded first time round. Always difficult though on this track, and on any of the short courses, because if you're towards the back of the grid, you are starting on a corner. Nürburgring's another sod for that. The amount of times that on a big track I have started on the corner there, and that causes an issue. I am slightly intrigued though as to why Ask Derek Akora is trending on Twitter. I think we shall notify some of that soon. So again, 16 laps of action. The top 5 on the grid have weight penalty. And here come the lights. 16 laps of high octane action at the Pukekohe circuit is about to get going. Off and away, Heasterbeek gets away beautifully again. Strain bogs down though as Talberg goes for him, as does Palm and Weisenmüller, and it's all looking quite chunky as they go 3 wide. And Weisenmüller, I think, is going to be the one that really wins out in this as he goes up to 3rd, Strane down to 4th. Who is that off the track? It is... it was Engel running a bit wide, but he's made it round, and surprisingly, this time, everyone's through! Would you Adam and Eve? Jiminy Crickets. Down towards the end of the back straight though, and it's still Heasterbeek from Talberg, Weisenmüller, Strane, Palm, Holm, Richards, Parker, Hamnet and Hack. 3 wide behind, and Holm going around the outside of Strane for 4th position. Strane keeps it, but he's about to be blocked because Weisenmüller had a terrible exit off of that hairpin. And yeah, Holm gets past Strane and is now having a go around the outside of Weisenmüller. They're going to go toe to toe around the final corner. I think Adrian will have to pop in behind. That's going to lose him out because Eric Strane goes for it. And look at Palm, he's 4 wheels on the grass behind as the whole lot of them go for it again. Heasterbeek's under attack from Talberg as they go around turn 1. Weisenmüller's trying to cling on around the outside of Strane again, bouncing over the curb. It's all looking a little bit more ragged this time by. It's like they've kind of they know where the limits are this time and are quite prepared to push it a little bit further, as Canapino's only up to 23rd. Oh, and Watkins has taken off someone. He's gone off with Matt Strand, that was. Sven de Vries involved too. They all kind of got locked wheels and went off together. Max Spooner in there too. Down up the front though, and that's Heasterbeek keeping the lead back from Tallberg, who seems to have it on the braking for turn at the end of sector 2, but just couldn't quite hold it. Weisenmüller's third, then it's Holm ahead of Strane, Palm. Someone else is dropping down the field quite quickly, and I think it was Ben Hackerson, because he's ended up in 18th, and Muscat has got past him. Everyone else kind of clinging along. Ryan Walker's dropped to last, so he's been off the track too. But no, this is overall looking much more of a tighter and cleaner run through. Weisenmüller though absolutely wringing the neck of that like it's some kind of chokeable chicken. Tom Jacobs into 16th position, just about clinging on as well. Which gets 19th. But it's Heasterbeek and Tallberg. They've got a gap over Weisenmüller, who's kind of pegging the rest of the field back, where he's looking a bit ragged. Tallberg goes to the outside of Heasterbeek. He's again got his nose ahead under braking, but Heasterbeek has the optimum line and keeps it. Weisenmüller there comes across on Adrian Holm, who does a little duck, and he's trying to then get the inside line for the final turn. Can he get enough of his car alongside? He's gone half a way through. Weisenmüller then keeps it there, but I think Adrian is going to try and go right through, and indeed he does. Beautifully executed by Adrian. Oh my goodness me, that's Tom Parker. They're using far too much of the grass. They go 3 wide from Palm. Weisenmüller and Strane. Strane's in the middle, and I think he may get pincered by this move going on. Indeed, there is contact. Strane goes flying off. Oh, is he going to collect Richards? No, he does not. Matt Richards keeps out of it for Air Stream. Just about as they go down the back straight, battle for 6th position, and Eric will not be impressed with that one. He just was in the middle of a sandwich that was only ever going to get munched upon. Tallberg again goes for Heasterbeek down into the end of the straight. Heasterbeek much better there. Oh, Holm and Palm, contact between the two. Holm gets pushed right off. Palm looked like he's about to spin, somehow gathers it up, but gets third position from Adrian. Then it's Robert. Behind them is then Eric Strun, a Parker, Hamnet into 9th. Gary Lennon has popped up into 10th ahead of Bell, Hack, Brewster, DeVos and Jacobs, who has got round McGlade, who's now down to 17th position. Someone else has been off somewhere, but Augustin Canapino is just about to take 19th from Ben Hackerson, and he does so. So he's quite fancying having some points this time by. Chris Williamson has been off the track and has lost 10 seconds to the rest of the field. So not great round 2 for Chrissy Wu. Again, Heasterbeek and Tallberg doing battle of the slipstreaming action down the back straight. Remember, you can only move a couple of times, and Heasterbeek's done it. Tallberg this time has the inside line, and could this be the one? No, he's not. What was that? He backed out mega early, that felt. Heasterbeek breaks latest of the late breakers. Beautifully keeps the position. Oh my goodness me, 4 wide behind for 4th position. Palm comes out ahead of Weisenmüller, then Strane, Richards. Parker is just behind as well. Strane and Richards side by side, and Matt Richards has another chance. Oh, Eric scoops it up like some kind of Mr. Whippy as Tom Parker again runs out wide, and that's going to use him tons, because through goes Hamnet, through goes Lennon, through goes Richards again. Parker down to 10th, and that was Gary Lennon running well out wide. He's gone steaming through though, and that's contact. Gary Lennon there not quite getting that right, and then smacks Tom Parker on re-entry. Round goes Richards. Oh my goodness me. That all kicked off a few corners earlier when Gary Lennon came back onto the track in a slightly awkward manner. Someone else off in the background, it was Jason Muscat, I think, was busy watching that and got caught out. He's rejoined in 27th position as Quintin Plain and Lewis Redshaw go through. Issues there. Back up the front though, Tallberg and Heasterbeek still battling away as they go side by side once again. Tallberg having to defend from taking back the lead from Heasterbeek. And that is beautifully done. Did not go for the... I'll have a look. Oh no, this is far too good. I'll back off now. Certainly got it done that time by Adrian Holm, closing them down, just 1.3 behind. Then it's Palm, Weisenmüller, Strane, Hamnet side by side. Harley backs out of that one. Probably very wise. Gary Lennon and Chris Hack for Missourics, almost side by side. That could be a team-to-team drama. Then it's Parker, Bell, DeVos, Jacobs, Davis up to 14th and being tapped by Lewis McGlade. Nearly goes round. They're the final points paying positions, with Canapino just retaking Hackerson for the third time for what is now 16th position and seems to be points. As here we go. Tallberg defending from Heasterbeek. We know Heasterbeek's car is beautiful on the straight line speed, and Tallberg really struggling with the apex of that corner. Estrane and Hamnet. Hamnet down the outside gets a bit of a wiggle. Retakes 6th position. For how long though? As they go around the outside lap. 7 of 16. Looking good. Tallberg leads from Heasterbeek, Holm, Palm, Weisenmiller, Strain, Hamlet, Lennon, Hack, Parker, Strain, and goes around the outside of Hamnet and retakes 6th position. How Hamnet managed to get ahead of him before turn 1, I don't know, but Strain leapfrogs over the curbs. More contact from Tom Parker as he gets rear-ended by Mike Bell. Still faces the right way though, so that's quite impressive. Tommy Oyala has just DNF'd. So he's our first retirement of the 40-car strong field, amazingly. Tallberg and Heasterbeek, though, are coming up to lapped traffic, and that is Tyrone Frith, who is well versed to being lapped. I don't think it'll be an issue. He's always a gentleman driver. Gets out of the way. Gary Lennon retakes Chris Hack for 8th and 9th position in the Missouri battle, and Tom Parker is about to be taken by Mike Bell, who's gone down the outside at the end of Sector 2, and indeed does so. Parker down to 11th, and look at DeVos, Davis, Jacobs, McGlade, Canapino, Hackerson are all there as they continue to squabble away. Still Tallberg holds off Heasterbeek. Holm closing in, but not at the rate of knots. Is 1.1 back. Be interesting to see down this straight exactly who's done what as someone's off the track. Never mind, I think it was Tumala. Here comes Heasterbeek though, and look at that. You gave him a car's width, Jesper, and that's exactly what Rude took down the inside. He's going to be late on the brakes and he'll just push you out wide. He's done it all race 1, and oh dear, onto the grass there goes Jesper, who didn't want to give that one up. That is all that happened in race 1 between himself and Eric. Rude, with 45 kilograms of penalty weight, managing to still cling on to this one. Tallberg has 27, so he's hardly a skinny fairy. However, they are clear from home. Then it's Palm in 4th, who's pulled out from Weisenmüller, Hamnet, Strane. Then it's Lennon and Hack still going at it. Bell has not pulled away from Parker or DeVos. And then Toby Davis in 14th position. There has got Canapino behind him, who's just got round Hackerson. McGlade lost out 3 positions very quickly there, with Matthew Williams, Matt Richards and Simon Melhuish all behind in a big long choo-choo train as Tallberg tries again down the outside of Heasterbeek. But Rude appears to have that one covered off. Everyone else looks okay. Parker is having to defend from DeVos for 11th and 12th, and does so indeed. Canapino, though, is about to have a go at Toby Davis for 14th and 15th position. But Davis good on exit from that critical right-hander, 90-degree corner. Yoinks it. It's Hackerson, McGlade, Williams, Richards, Melhuish, top 20. Just behind them is Brewster, Morby, Muscat and Redshaw as they all battle away. And in fact, they're about to, oh my goodness me, nearly 3 wide as Morby gets it all wrong coming onto the start-finish straight on lap 11. Redshaw and Muscat both go for him. Neither get him though. And that keeps that at bay. Oh, and Toby Davis is off the track, 19th, 20th position. He's just rejoined. Let's take a look at that because he was battling with Canapino. Canapino goes through, Davis loses it, and then Hackerson basically leapfrogs over the curbs to avoid him, but then just collects his poor old Davis as it goes, and that's the drama that unfolds there. Back up front though, Heasterbeek under attack from Adrian Holm, who's about to yoink first position, and indeed does so beautifully by getting past Tallberg and Rude Heasterbeek. So busily battling each other, they didn't realise the THR driver was there. And remember, that THR driver Ain't got no weight. That is why Adrian is just able to reel them in slowly but surely as those tyres start to go off towards the latter third of this race. They will struggle. Weisenmuller too about to be gobbled up by Harley Hamnet potentially as well. And watch out for Martin Palm, he's 2.2 back. He may have something to say if these trio continue. Look at the way how they slipstream onto the back of Adrian Holm. Easterbeek dives down, Holm sees it coming, does let him go. Better traction on exit, better acceleration through like the second and third gears there, due probably to the weight advantage that he has. Retakes the lead again, and that's critical. Holm there, no dramas, and gets it done as it's all kicking off towards the lower end of the points. Lap 13 though, Adrian leads from Rude and Jespor. Martin is not closing in. Martin Palm in 5th position. Oh, Harley Hamnet going for Weisenmuller, 5 and 6. Robert keeps it for now. That's a spicy one. I can see that one ending in tears potentially. Gary Hack has got ahead of Gary Lennon for 8th and 9th position, and now Gary Lennon has got an entire trolley train all the way down to Jacobs in 14th position as Matt Richards and Lewis McGlade squabble over the final point side by side again. The leaders are lapping Chris Williamson and Max Spooner, both getting out of the way quite nicely indeed. And Harley Hamnet dives past Weisenmuller for 5th position, just behind all of that. Nicely done. A bit slow on acceleration, but it hasn't harmed him too much. McGlade and Richards still side by side for 15 and 16. They've been at it for about 4 laps now. Still amazingly, only one retirement. Lap 14 of 16. Ooh, Ryan Walker looks like he wants to spin in front. Oh, he's gone right off there. Is he going to come back onto the track properly? Because that put off Easterbeek. Easterbeek jumped over the curb there. Ryan Walker keeps off the track and lets everyone go. Very gentlemanly like from the Scotsman. However, Easterbeek's error may well be Jesper Tulberg's rainy day pay store. Look at the way how he's practically bump drafting Rude round the little kink to the right in that back straight, but he's chosen the outside route again. And this is what Easterbeek was able to play off beautifully last time round. Jesper Tulberg did not have much of an answer. He doesn't look like he's going to have much of an answer here because he can't quite get enough of his car alongside. Both fat with penalty weight. Adrian Holm less so, with 2 to go as they cross the line now. And he's 1.2 clear of Easterbeek and Tulberg. Then Palm. Weisenmuller back ahead of Hamnet somehow along the line. Then it's Strane. Hack, Lennon and Bell side by side for 9 and 10. Mike Bell takes the inside line into turn 1. Gary Lennon goes very wide, but he's going to be doing that weird narrow chop into this, which is what causes so many of the issues. People are a bit more aware of it for race 2, and so it's not caught out as many people. But he holds on there for now. Then it's Tom Parker ahead of Bart de Vos, Tom Jacobs, Augustin Canapino ahead of Toby Davis. He's back into 15th, despite all the efforts that he's had to try and not have him there. And that looks to me like Mike Bell, yeah, 9th position. Gary Lennon, that's a lose 10th, that's a Nijo off the track. And Tom Parker retakes Bart de Vos, and he may well have a go at Mike Bell as well. Get the inside for this corner, which he can't quite do, and Bart de Vos is going to try and penalise him for trying. They all come flicking out. On to the last lap then for Adrian Holm. Easterbeek still ahead of Tulberg. Palm is now right there, and he could be the dark horse for a last minute drama. Simon Meadowish and Cameron Brewster both off the track in a battle for 19th position, but as we go onto the pack straight, it is all about what can Jesper Tulberg and Martin Palm do with Ruud Easterbeek, and how will they finish behind Adrian Holm so long as he can bring it home. No lap traffic to deal with. Tulberg goes for the outside. Easterbeek goes for his trusty inside line, as he's done several times already this evening. And it looks like it may well have worked again. And Palm, in the end, nothing to say as they come round at that last braking zone. Adrian then in drama. Field race as De Vos and Bell come together, but Adrian crosses the line, flashes the lights, he's got time to do so, and wins for THR, and that is points that he will relish in this championship battle. Ruud Hiesebeek, another great race to second. Tallberg will be delighted with third. Martin Palm, fourth position. More Wiley points. Robert Weisenman, I think, will be pleased with fifth. Harley Hamnick, 2 with 6 for Basvik. Eric Strane, 7 for YTF1. That penalty weight, not agreeing with him. Chris Hack, delighted with 8th, I think, ahead of Gary Lennon, 9. Both Missourics in the top 10, with Tom Parker again in the top 10 for CSG, and I think he will be raging for that one. Then Mike Bell grabbed 11th, and it was down into the right-hander at the end of Sector 2. There was a lot of bashing going on, but Mike Bell ended up winner of that one. Canapino won out in that too because he went from 14th to 12th. Tom Jacobs ended up 13th, Bart DeVos 14th, and Toby Davis did grab the final point in 15th for THR, ahead of Ben Hackerson. Then it's Matthew Williams, Simon Melhuish, Cameron Brewster, and Lewis Redshaw ends up 20th for CSG. However, Neil Poir again. Then it's Jason Muscat, Philip Morby, David Junt, Paul Watkins, Richard Coxon, Tom Vandervoort, Lewis McGlade, Quintin Plain, Matt Strand and Sven de Vries top 30, with Matt Richards 7 thousandths ahead of JJ Wang. Then it's Asa Klimpf to Marla, Engel, and then a lap down Williamson, Walker, Frith, Spooner, with Tommy Oyala. Your only retirement, 39 finishes. That's got to be, actually, surely, a record for this series.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
I don't remember 39 finishing ever. Great stuff. Loving that. Just into the final warm-up session. On this Ask Derek Akora hashtag. Derek, am I due any PPI compensation? If you don't know who Derek Akora is, he's a psychic medium. And he used to do, there's a program that used to go around called Most Haunted, which was where he used to say that he had found all of these people, and then he had Sam, his spirit guide friend, who would possess him and tell him things, and he'd get possessed by beasts. And it ended up in the infamous one where he got possessed by someone and all of a sudden just shouted out, "Mary loves Dick." And he meant Richard, apparently. But of course in the old times. And yeah, so Most Haunted Live was always great for those moments. Sadly, because he's got such a bad reputation because he was faking the whole damn thing. Amazing. Someone has said, "Can you tell my Nana Maggie I swapped all her underwear for larger sizes so she thought she was thinner?" I wish someone would do that to me. Actually, every 5th tweet is "Who does Mary love?" Anywho. How does it feel sustaining a television career based on lies and deceit? Oh, people are a bit harsh. Oh, the social media dramas. So we'll just wait for the finger of fear to decide what the random reverse grid number will be. And it is... Matthew Williams, P17. Mr. Chuggy himself up on pole position. I smoke too much weed. Yes. I'd like to ask Pukekohe when the next Steam sale is. Ghosts watch people pooing. That's true, actually. If you have a spirit guide, and you knew that, and if say it was there all the time, you could not have any privacy at all. Be like on the toilet. Hey, spirit guide. Doing naughties with the lady or fella, depending on what you're up to. Yo, spirit guide. Konnichiwa. So the last thing I'd like to mention this evening is there is a mini potential GPVWC meet going on. Of course you have to be a GPVWC member unless you are family related or relationship related. I think we allow that. Don't allow random strangers to come along completely. Unless, of course, they bring a supply of alcohol. Pop over to the GPVWC forums. Take a look. I believe it will be based in Manchester. Manchester. And, yeah. It'll be nice to see some people. I'm sure I'll be there. Oh, and whilst we're on the subject of awesome stuff, last night I was in Croydon, as you do. I went to a really, really nice tapas place, and I've forgotten the name of it, but I will plug it when I remember it. We found a restaurant that only does desserts. Oh, it was my heaven. I even said to the lady at the cash till, I went, I think I've found my new home. I don't even live in Croydon. But I was saying to my mates, it's like we just have to find more reasons to go out in Croydon. There seems to be loads of food places. They must know that Ollie Woods lives there. Because clearly there's lots of food places. Love you, Ollie. But yeah, tapas was yummy. You can never have too much chorizo. Especially when it's fried in wine. That was really nice. Anyway, best of luck everyone for this reverse grid this evening.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
All the clingers on, all the clangers, get off the track. Your penalty weights then, 45 kilos to Holm, 36 to Heasterbeek, 27 to Tulberg, 18 to Palm, and 9 to Wiesenmüller. Or Wiesenmüller. Or my Wiesen got mullered. It's now 4:30 PM. So you can see the shades on the cars. On the track, sorry. And let's pop it round an information lap for this reverse grid race. 16 laps as always this evening. And it is Matthew Williams leading us round for the Six Axis Racing ahead of Ben Hackerson. Second for YTF1. He'll be cacking himself with that. Now Toby Davis has lucked into a good third position owing to all of the cack luck that he had earlier on. He's going to be the one really to catch here, I think, this afternoon as they drive through loads of cones on the warm-up lap. That's not great. Balder Voss in fourth ahead of Tom Jacobs, Augustin Canapino, Mike Bell, Tom Parker, Gary Lennon, Chris Hack, your top 10. Extrane with no weight now in 11th, that could be interesting. Harley Hamlett 12, Robert Wiesenmüller 13, Martin Palm 14, Jesper Talberg in 15th, ahead of Ruud Heasterbeek 16, Adrian Holm in 17th, ahead of Simon Melhuish, who's in 18th, and Nijo nearly in the points. Karen Brewster 19 and Lewis Redshaw 20th, and he would dearly love some points after a pointless evening so far. Jason Muscat 21st, ahead of Philip Morby and David Junt, with Paul Watkins 24th, sadly blighted by the first race, and maybe he'll collect a point for the evening's out. Richard Cox on 25 ahead of Tom Vandervoort 26th. Anonymous evening for him so far. Lewis McGlade 27th, then Quintin Plain, Matt Strand and Sven de Vries round out your top 30 ahead of Matt Richards, JJ Wang, Jonathan Athercliffe, Mikhail Tumala, whose card did look suspiciously second hand by the end of race 2. Then it's Florian Engel, Chris Williamson, Ryan Walker, Tyrone Frith, Maximum Spooner and Tommy Oyala. If your name is Max Spoon, you could never be the little spoon, could you? In like bedroom scenario of cuddling up. Ah, imagine having your entire life defined by how you could not be the little spoon. Ever. So Coffin, predictions. I'm going with Toby Davis for this one. I have to agree, potentially. Mr. Joe Coffin. And Coffin by name and by nature. Here come the lights. The final round this evening at Pukekohe Park is about to get underway. Now, Williams gets away beautifully off the line initially. Well ahead of Hackerson. Davis, though, has been swamped down by DeVos and by Tom Jacobs. Unusual there for Davis as they go flying through into turn 1. How's it all going to fan out? Ooh, Jacobs there gets a little bit leery and that could well be problematical. Same with Robert Weisenmuller. He got hit by someone and leapt over the curb. Somehow has survived. Adrian Holt has lost 8 positions off the line as well. Oh, there's a massive smash towards the back. It's Ryan Walker and Jonathan Asserklimp and Mikhail Tumala. They've all got going again, but that was a lot of debris flying high in the sky. Back up front, though, it is Matthew Williams, just ahead of Ben Hackerson. Hackerson's locked up his wheels massively. Is Williams going to give him the time of day? Just about. Then it's DeVos, Tom Jacobs, Canapino and Toby Davis side by side for 5 and 6. Then it's Bell, Parker, Lennon, Hack, Weisenmuller, Palm and Hamnet. And poor old Adrian Holm down to 23rd. That was a terrible start for him. Everyone else has managed to still keep going though, so that is good because that looked like a big impact for 2 at least of those cars. But Matthew Williams then leads the way in the 6-axis racing. Ben Hackerson looking like he's missed all the racing lines, somehow keeps it going. And Toby Davis, is he going round? No, he's collected it up, but Canapino then smacks Bell as a result. With 5th and 6th position, it's all clanging off behind. Race 3 is always the one where it goes to pot, and well, we aren't being disappointed as they swing themselves down. Into the pits came Strane and Oyala, so issues there for them. Up front though, it's still Williams from Hackerson, DeVos. Bell keeps ahead of Davis. There's more contact with them. They're practically pushing each other around the corner. The 2 Missourics pulling out to see if they can leapfrog other cars. And it looks like Davis is trying to go round the outside of Mike Bell. I think Mike Bell will keep the inside bit. Oh my goodness me. Contact between the 2, different angles of steering, and it looks like Tom Parker would quite fancy the pair of them, but he might fancy the barrier before he gets there. Canapino's going round the outside. That's going to be a 3-1 again, and that might not work. He fans into 2. Canapino's in trouble, as is Davis, who just about scoops it up. Mike Bell's in there. This is only going to end in tears for 1 or 2 of them, surely. The Missourics in 9 and 10. Lennon ahead of Hack. Then it's Weisenmuller, Tulberg, Palm, Heasterbeek, and Brewster is on the back of this with Meluish just half a second further back. An absolute train of cars. The top 3 are clear because of all the drama, and if Davis can get a little mini gap, he'll be going with them. Indeed, it looks like he will do, as Hackerson goes for Williams for the lead down into turn 4, I think that is. Williams then down to second. Ben Hackerson leads for YTF1. Williams can't do anything to defend. All going off behind with Palm, Weisenmuller and Tulberg getting into squabbles. Everyone does come out of the corner together though, so that's quite good. As oh no, Tom Vandervoort off the track rejoins 36th position for Cosmo in what has been a torrid evening of affairs for the Vandy himself. But Hackerson is not pulling away from Williams. DeVos is just sitting there waiting, I think, for an issue, but he might need to get on with it because Toby Davis is dragging Mike Bell and Augustin Canapino along. Oh, Tom Jacobs off the track. He's going to lose out. Both Missourics of Lennon and Hack go through, and I would say Weisenmuller will have him by the end of the straight as well. And that was running wide out of the flick-flack through turns 2 and 3, I suppose, if you count them respectively. Up the front, here comes Hackerson having to defend still from Williams. Oh, contact between the two. It's a bit more messy. Same for Canapino, gets past Bell for 5th position. Mike Bell actually gives him a bit more room this time by. Tom Jacobs keeps ahead of Weisenmuller. Easterbeek is passing Martin Palm by the looks of it for 12th position, indeed does so. Then it's Tallberg and Brewster with Melowish side by side as Simon Melowish tries to go round the outside from him for 15th position on the final corner and does so. Beautifully done. Eric Straine has crashed out and is out of the race from last position it was. So no points for Eric after what was an amazing round 1 and 2 to some extent as well. So problems there. Oh, and Philip Morby's off the track. Contact, I think, there with Adrian Holm. 27th position. He's lost his front bumper. I wonder if he can get going. Yes, he's got the power in the car. He just needs to get out the gravel. But, oh, he's going to be collected by someone else as well. Tyrone Frith nearly upside down in 35th position. He's got spun round there. It's all kicking off towards the end. Got flicked up into the air. Done a little pirouette. Hackerson still keeps ahead, though, of Matthew Williams as they sort themselves out up front. But this battle, now that they're starting to behave behind, is now being reeled in at a rate of knots by Davis and Canapino, who's dropping Mike Bell, who's busy defending from Tom Parker. And as those two busily defend, it's allowing Davis and Canapino to just get on with their own work. But DeVos, if he's going to do anything, if he has anything in him to do it, needs to go now, because that is Toby Davis, who's just eaten 7/10 of a second up in a sector alone around the Pukekohe circuit. That is absolutely tons. Morby has retired from the race after that crash, by the way. Down at the back straight. Williams trying to go down the outside. DeVos now, and he realises it. I think he's gone, oh God, there's Davis. But he doesn't feel brave enough to go down the inside. Hackerson's got it. Williams keeps ahead. There's contact with DeVos there, who then has to defend from Davis. Oh, and Tom Parker's round. 9th position, 10th position he rejoins. As through goes Parker, through goes Easterbeek, through goes Palm. He rejoins just ahead of the Melhuish and Redshaw battle, and Melhuish takes 13th position. Redshaw up to 14th. There's his teammate, who's spent the entire evening getting back up from last after an earlier spat. There's a lot of problems behind with Watkins, Richards and Junt over a 19th position as well. But, oh, and that's someone off. Is that Hackerson? It is. It's Hackerson. He's off. He's done exactly the same as what Morby did earlier on, the previous lap. But this time, it looked like, I couldn't see if it was enforced or not. He's rejoined in 10th position. He's now going to be down potentially even further to 11th as they just go streaming through. And Matthew Williams is now having to defend from DeVos and from Toby Davis. Toby Davis quite fancies the pair of them. They come down to the end of sector 2. DeVos leads into the lead, but he's got to watch because there comes Davis. He's going to have the pair of them. He practically barges his way through and takes back the lead. My goodness me, Toby, that was going to be an all or nothing, and it's turned into an all. Glory for the win. But yeah, so busy battling with each other they didn't spot the THR driver coming through and yoinking it. Into the lead then goes Toby, with Matthew Williams down to second. Bart DeVos is third. Augustin Canapino, he was your championship leader coming into this event, certainly won't be now. He needs to get round Williams and DeVos and maybe try to challenge Davis if he can. But the more that he has to deal with DeVos and Williams, the further and quicker Davis will get away. Mike Bell then on his own in 5th position, and Missouric squabbling over 6th and 7th with Lennon and Hack as they continue this little snake train trying to get round. Augustin Canapino's got himself lipped alongside Bart DeVos, and that could well be 3rd position for the taking. Indeed it is. Well done there by Augustin. And DeVos doesn't battle it massively. I think he knows that his battle is not necessarily with Canapino. It is with Matt Williams up ahead. Behind, Gary Lennon is just clinging on ahead of Hack, Weisenmuller. Easterbeek and Hackerson side by side for 9 and 10. And Hackerson's got Easterbeek back. Beautifully done there by Ben Hackerson. I think he'll be delighted with how he's driving here, even if it did all go a bit wrong the previous lap. Palm's there too, as is Tom Jacobs still as well. Easterbeek gets it back. Palm goes steaming through, and Hackerson could lose 2 for the price of 1. As Canapino, is that Matthew Williams off the track? It is. He's rejoined in 5th position. Was that contact with Canapino down into the flick flat? I have a funny feeling it may well be. No, it was an unforced error. Oh dear, Matthew Williams just catching the inside of the curbs. Unfortunately, that chugged his last chug. Down to 5th position he doth go. Canapino into 2nd, less than a second behind Davis. Can he do anything about the THR driver as Bart DeVos steams past Mike Bell and retakes 3rd position? He should not have been behind Mike Bell. They weren't together earlier on. Maybe he was slowed down by Matthew Williams. Further back, Simon Melhuish overtakes Cameron Brewster for 13th position. That's Adrian Holm about to have a go at Cameron Brewster as well, as the Bowser pushes his way back past into 13th. Mr. Cameraman Extraordinaire Original would love some points for Nijo, but he wants the grass even more. He's mowing it up, and unfortunately that's going to give Harley Hamnet half a go, as we've just lost Mikhail Tsumala and Max Spooner, both with crashes, off your screens. Hamnet goes steaming through for the final point. Melowish wants to go down the outside. This could be trouble. My goodness me. Yep, no, yep, no. Melowish down outside the points, and that's that for the time being. Canapino is eating in 1/10 of a second on Davis. He's got 6 laps in which to do something about it, and he's getting into the slipstream. This is going to be juicy. He's taken another 10th out down the back straight. DeVos again has to defend from Mike Bell, but Bell's got him. Mike Bell goes into 3rd position for Aurora's Motorsports. Lovely done. Gary Lennon has just got past Matthew Williams for 5th position as well. Chris Hack's been overtaken by Robert Weisenmuller for 7th and 8th, as again the favoured route of I'll take all the grass on the final corner continues on. And yeah, Adrian Holm has got round Cameron Brewster for 13th and 14th position as well. So changes up and down the order as they filter their way through. Canapino a bit of a tardy exit onto the back straight. He won't be able to challenge for anything this time by, but Bell and DeVos side by side for the 3rd and final podium slot. As we've lost Mikhail Tsumala with a crash. I can't remember if I've said that. DeVos though, going down the inside. He would dearly love a podium for Triple 20. But so would Mike Bell for Aurora. And he's kept it. DeVos then sticks a really weird curb out, and was that Rude Heasterbeek on Chris Hack for 8th? Indeed it was. Nicely done there, Rude, down the outside, 2 wheels on the grass, and still managed it. As up ahead, Weisenmuller trying to unsettle Matthew Williams, not having any of it. He's busy focusing on Gary Lennon up ahead as they come through to start lap 12 of 16. Ooh, Matthew Williams well out wide. Was that just Gary Lennon taking a really tight line in? But they're all kind of ping-ponging themselves back and forth. I think this is going to leave a little bit of an issue by the time we get down to the end of the straight. Look at the way they're snaking back and forth. Matthew Williams there, not in the slipstream. Neither is Chris Hack. They're all breaking out now. Who's going to get who? Used to be trying to go down the outside of Weisenmuller. I think he's going to run out of road. Martin Palm quite fancies that 8th position. Chris Hack down to 10th for Missouri. He's really lost out considering he was battling Gary Lennon for what would be now 5th position. More contact between Hack and Palm. And Palm nearly having a go at Weisenmuller. Oh, Palm gets it all wrong on the final corner through the spearhead banner. Thankfully does not explode everywhere, and that's Tom Jacobs saying I'll have 10th, thank you very much. But has he gone in too deep? No, he's just about held it. Might not hold it for much longer if that's the way he's going to take those curbs. Further back, 15th position is under dispute between Brewster, Melhuish, DeFries, Richards, Redshaw. Hackerson down to 20th ahead of Junt, Watkins and McGlade and co. Back up front though, here comes Canapino! Oh! Not bad for a first shot as Toby Davis defends. What can he do? Is he going to go for the old switchy? Doesn't look like it, as Heasterbeek gets round Weisenmuller for 7th position. But look at Canapino. He's really stalking the back of Toby Davis. He might have a go down into turn 1. It leaves you exposed though as you go down the back straight, but maybe it's best to just try and get out in front and hope for it. Nope. Davis keeps the inside line. 4-wheel drifting round turn 1. all those curbs. Those curbs are never allowed to put on weight. If no one sausage curbs that in a future event, I don't know quite what people will do. The average lap time will probably go up a second. They're coming up to a scrap though. We've got Tom Vandervoort and Chris Williamson battling over wooden spoon positions. However, Canapino may not need back markers to deal with. He's gone down the outside. He's got his wheels alongside. Davis last and late on the brakes. Canapino's trying to switcheroo it back on the exit. There's more contact between the two as they start love nudging each other. Same with Gary Lennon's off the track and he's lost 5th position and he's rejoined in 10th behind Tom Jacobs. So Gary Lennon pushed off the track, I would believe, because that was like 4 into 1. Still Vandervoort and Williamson battling up ahead. Sven de Vries has just crashed out from 33rd position. As Canapino dives through the inside for Davis into turn 1. They're leaning on each other once again. Davis keeps the inside. Vandervoort and Williamson still battling side by side themselves. Will they give way? And will they get caught by the end of this long straight? Because how they deal with the traffic could well decide this with 2 to go. Less than 2 tenths of a second. Bell and DeVos are equally fraught behind in 3rd and 4th position, as is the battle between 5th to 10th. Canapino down the outside. Williamson's trying to brake. This is the issue. Is he going to try and Lavaggi it? No! Davis goes in deep. Canapino just lets him go. Yoinks the position back. Chris Williamson gets out of the way, as does Vandervoort. There's nothing that Williamson could do. He was already over to the side of the track. Canapino beautifully trying to box Davis in. Davis then gets misled and breaks in too late. 1 lap to go. Oh, DeVos is nearly round in 4th position in the final corner. Bell's off even worse. He's onto the grass. Neither of them can manage going round the easiest corner on the track. But Bell keeps 3rd position just about for now. Canapino and Davis though in front, bouncing all over the curbs like some kind of bouncy castle ride you'd only get in theme park. However, onto the final straight. Canapino it is that now has to do the defending. Here comes Toby Davis sucking up onto the back of the rear bumper of Augustin Canapino. These two need the points. They need to stay in the championship hunt. It is all going to be down to what happens in this last corner. Davis goes to the outside. He's going to try and brake later. Canapino's locking up all his wheels. Does he cover the racing line? Yes, he does. Beautifully done on the exit. Canapino holds the lead and he's got the entire car's width for him. Same for Bell and DeVos behind. It's 4 wide nearly in the battle for 5th, but Canapino just needs to make sure that he doesn't run too wide on the exit of this corner, which he does so! Here comes Toby Davis, it's going to be nearly a dead heat. Who's going to win it? Is it going to be Canapino? Yes, it is! By 91 thousandths of a second, Augustin Canapino wins for Vodball Racing. Toby Davis second for THR, both of those deserve that victory. Beautiful racing by the pair of them. Mike Bell, delighted with 3rd position for Aurora ahead of Bart DeVos 4th. Then Robert Weisenmuller grabbed 5th by 0.08 of a second from Ruud Heasterbeek. Matthew Williams grabbed 7th for 6th for Axis Racing. Less than a tenth ahead of Chris Hack. Less than 3 tenths ahead of Tom Jacobs. Less than 4 tenths ahead of Tom Parker. And a second back was Gary Lennon in 11th, who really lost out with that running wide at the end of Sector 2. Don't know whether he was pushed or whether it was an error. Harley Hamnet 12th position, Adrian Holm 13, Cameron Brewster 14. Ben Hackerson did grab the final point in 15th ahead of David Junt, who just missed out. Then it's Lewis McGlade, Jesper Tolberg, Simon Melhuish and Matt Richards at your top 20. Lewis Redshaw dropped back in the end for 21st, while Jason Muscat's 22nd ahead of Matt Strand 23rd, Quintin Plain 24th. Ryan Walker 25th, only half a minute off the winner. That's how close it was this evening. Then it's Richard Cox, JJ Wang, Paul Watkins, Martin Palm only 29th after dramas, Florian Engel 30th, Tyrone Frith 31st, 2 tenths ahead of Jonathan Atterklimp for 32nd. 2 lapped cars Tom Vandervoort and Chris Williamson. Your retirement Sven de Vries, Mikhail Tumala, Max Spooner, Tommy Oyala and Eric Strain all definitely with crashes. Philip Morby's registered as a DNF, so I'm not sure if he just parked the car or disconnected and after his big crash. My goodness me. Well, if that doesn't tickle your fancy for the wonders that are sim racing, I quite frankly would not know what would. Even more on the Ask Derek Akora, is ectoplasm salty? If I gave you a Fray Bentos pie, could you tell me what animal it was? That is actually quite good. Ah, damn. Anyway, let's see what's going on down in the driver briefing lab and room, because plenty did go down out on track. And let's start off with the second placed man from last round, Toby Davis, who endured yet another DNF, and it didn't look like it was particularly any fault of your own again. You were cursing that internet.
Yeah, it was. I don't know how to describe it really. I was gutted. I just set easily the best lap I could do in qualifying. Again, me and Adrian, obviously we planned doing slipstream, and why no other team? I mean, we don't really, do anything extra special at THR. It's just common sense, I feel, and I don't understand why no other teams are working within their team like we are. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway,
don't give the secrets.
Well, it's not hardly a secret, is it? Slipstream where there's a track with a long straight. But anyway, me and Adrian gave each other slipstream and put me on pole, and then the internet died. So it is what it is. But anyway, race 2 came from the back, got it to about 14th or something, and then Ben Hackerson and myself got in a tangle, which dropped me back. But at least I managed to get in the third position for the start of the final race. And then. Yeah, me and Augustine decided to battle for all of the final part of the race. I couldn't quite get enough of a gap after taking over the leaders, to just pull away. He was just getting in my slipstream, and it allowed him to just gradually pull me in after one tiny little mistake. And he eventually got by, but I was defending for my life, and it was a thoroughly good battle. I will have to watch his overtake on me. I think maybe he was unsighted by the back marker or something. I'll have to watch it back, but otherwise it was a lovely battle and thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you, Augustine, for driving sensibly in this league.
Yes, actually, there was, despite the nature of the circuit, actually, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a complete crash fest and stuff. So
no, well, it filters through. Turn 1, 2, 3 is single file. So as long as you haven't got an idiot for a brain, you can get through there absolutely fine the first few laps, So once it's gone single file, actually, it's not too bad heading into the hairpin. So it's not such a bad track for it. And also turn 1 single file. So
not many were doing it single file though.
Yeah.
So that's quite funny. We've got Adelaide is next up on the old calendar-oo, and obviously you've had 2 DNFs, but you've figured strongly in all of the other races. How are you thinking for that one? Do you have any particular thoughts of that track?
Yeah, I love Adelaide. I don't like Pukekohe, and Bahrain didn't do anything for me. So, but Adelaide's one of my favourite tracks. I've driven it a lot, so I suspect I'll be a lot quicker there than I have been compared to the rest of the field. So, we'll see what we can do at Adelaide. But I'd be looking to get a decent result there and just get my championship back on track, because effectively I scored 1 point in race 2 and second place. It's not far from ideal considering my pole, so it is what it is.
Well, at least.
One final thing, Simon. Sorry. Thank you very much, everyone, for waiting for me. It's very appreciated, and even though I couldn't get it rectified, it really is appreciated. So thank you, guys.
Well, next time we recommend Viagra. Because if someone just joined the conversation now and has no context for that,
thank you, Simon.
I'm loving that very much. Anyway, at least something's warming your cockles, even if it is the Adelaide circuit. So go and enjoy it, and let's hope that everything runs smoothly with the hamster and the wheel for next time, as it did for Adrian Ohm, who must have romped away. Especially, I was commenting at the end of round 1, he was pretty much the only person in the top 10 in the driver standings to have really picked up a decent haul of points. You then went and run round 2 and came away with a nice haul again in round 3. So all in all, it must be a really good evening for yourself.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But obviously, I'd rather have Toby up here than back in in the DNF pit. But anyway, good bag of points. Struggled a bit in the race 3, but I don't think I could get any further. And guess what I did, Simon, on the start of race 3?
I would like to know, because you were suddenly 8 positions lower than where you were.
Yeah, I didn't select first gear.
Oh no!
And Strani, you're not allowed to say anything.
Oh. And apologies, Eric Strani, because I've decided to just call you Strain. So yes, thank you, JB, for rectifying that one for me. But all in all, even without selecting first gear, still tons of points. That puts you into the lead of the championship in comparison with Augustin Canapino, Toby Davis, and Lewis Redshaw. Redshaw didn't even score today, so you must kind of think, that's quite nice going into Adelaide.
Yeah, feels quite good, but obviously I was in this position last season as well, and managed to lose it, so still a long way to go, even more rounds this year, so, when you can't win, you gotta bring home as much points as possible, and when you can win, just go for it, and I think that's what we did today, so just keep chipping away, and we'll be good for the rest of the season.
Definitely. Well, best of luck for Adelaide, the pair of you. And we've also been joined by Monsieur Mikey Bell, who grabs a podium. And after a 14th and 8th and a 22nd in Bahrain, that little 3 next to your name must be feeling pretty damn sweet.
That's a little bit of an improvement. I've done a lot of testing for this round. I knew I was quicker than I was at Bahrain, but I messed up the quali lap a little bit and then was stuck in the lower kind of upper teens, lower top 10 area through the first 2 races and just got a good reverse grid draw and everyone fell off in front of me, so just a case of keeping on going, and had to hold off Bart for a couple of laps, which I maybe could have given him a bit more room, but it's for a podium, so.
Yes, because that did look, just as we was enjoying the battle for the lead, the battle for third was no less heated. So, so anything particular you'd like to say about that? Do you think it was all nice and fair and stuff?
Between me and Bart, I think I could have given him a bit more room, but otherwise, yeah, it was alright. As was most of the battling through all 3 races around where I was, it was alright. There was a couple of people running each other off, but on the whole, it was good.
Great stuff. And what do you think would put it down to this race for you being better than what it was in Bahrain? What clicked with you at the circuit?
I'm just better at the track than I am at Bahrain. I have no idea why. I've raced Adelaide a couple of times, haven't been too bad, so hopefully I can get quick there as well.
Get the magic touch. And obviously that pushes you up in the championship standings, and same for Aurora, so that's all good. You were 5th in the constructors beforehand, and between yourself and Talberg, that should push you probably up into 3rd, I'd have thought, for Aurora overall, so that's all good. So congratulations and well done.
Yep, thanks.
So that roughly brings us to the end. As ever, Augustin Canapino is ever elusive. He's probably gone for a sauna to relax after that sweaty on-track action that only you get provided here at GPVWC. Thank you so much to Dave Carr-Smith for providing race control and for cameras this evening. We'll see you back on the beautiful... Oh, we'll go for a steak, says Adrian. Argentinian? Is he? Cool. I thought the only thing that comes out of Argentina was Rivitas, courtesy of Evitas. Who knows? We will join you on Wednesday for World Sports Series, which will be hosted, I believe, by Monsieur Kirkabors, and that will be a good bit of fun, I'm sure. And then we'll be back in the following week for Formula Challenge on a Tuesday, Wednesday for Super Cup, Thursday for Super League. You really don't have to go anywhere else for sim racing, to be quite frank, and that's just how we love it. However, if you only love a little bit of ITC, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for Adelaide, where you can have more pixelated, pure racing. You guys take care. See you soon. Bye for now.